Hello, all you on ramps and off ramps. This is Raina, and this is I Like It Hard, where I review hard copy media. Today, I am going to be talking a lot about music. A while back, one of my viewers, Ben Planer, asked me for some music recommendations, and I thought, well, now there's a task because I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. And it would be really hard for me to be like, here, listen to all of these things without looking over my shoulder and being like, but I want you to listen to this stuff over here too, because this is totally different. And so this list is in no way complete or inclusive of everything that I listen to. However, what it does include is there are albums that constantly come back into my life. They're on a constant rotation. There are things that I always listen to. I will always come back to whether I like it or not in some cases. But anyway, so that's the stipulation here. I'm going to stop talking and just get into it. I'm going to try to make this a rapid fire thing because I have a lot of albums here. I didn't limit it to, I don't even know how many albums are here. I just started picking. Um, so if you'll stay with me and listen, maybe you'll see some things you like, or maybe you'll see some things you don't know, and maybe then they will become things that you like. And anyway, to start off, the Plasmatics, Beyond the Valley of 1984. Now, what's interesting about stuff like this is now my favorite Plasmatic song isn't even on this album, but this is my favorite Plasmatics album as a whole. It's also a good way to introduce yourself to the band, even though it's not their first album. Wendy O. Williams, not to be confused with Wendy Williams, is a tragic punk rock metal hero, in my humble opinion, and she deserves a lot more credit than she gets. A lot of metalheads don't even know who this woman is and who this band was. They've kind of been forgotten to the pull of time, but most people just know her, and the band is the those are the people who blew things up on MTV. But there was so much more than that. Wendy was an amazing person, and the music they made was genuinely legitimate, and I wish that more people would give them the credit they deserve. So go pick up some Plasmatics, even if you don't pick up this album. Go check them out. Wendy's solo album, wow, was really amazing, and unfortunately, I don't have that on vinyl. Otherwise, it probably would have been here instead of this one. Anyway, so here we go with the Not Safe for YouTube album covers, which there are a few. This is Surfer Rosa by the Pixies. Oh my god. Do you guys not own this album? Because if you don't own this album, you should own this album. The Pixies were so enormously influential on so many musicians that became legends. And I'm grateful in a weird way that that Black Francis, or whatever he goes by today, whichever moniker he's going by at this moment, um, I'm grateful that he didn't reach the kind of like Kurt Cobainian success that other musicians reached, even though I feel like the quality of the music should have propelled them to those heights. Because maybe he avoided things like, overdoses and suicides and things like that. And we're still getting Pixies music. So Pixies, Surfer Rosa, uh, oh, just a gorgeous album. Again, though, another example of how, um, you can love a whole album, but still prefer, like, your favorite song might be on another album. My favorite song by the Pixies is a song called Dead, and it's not on this album. But that doesn't matter because this is a perfect album, in my humble opinion. Surfer Rosa, go get it. Let's see. What else we got? All right, so Bis is a band that I've mentioned on my channel before. Now, this band kind of specialized in very high energy, kind of like poppy Scottish punk, with a little techno thrown in there. This album is completely different than any of that. If you listen to this album and then you go back to listen to the rest of Biss's back catalog, you're gonna be like, what happened here? But I love it. I love the rest of their stuff too, don't get me wrong, but there's something really beautiful. It's like a beautiful diversion from the rest of what they were doing. And oddly, it's the album by them that I always come back to which is ironic. Return to Central. Anyway, so yeah, Return to Central by Bis. Really good if you like, kind of like, the best way I could describe it is like electronic dirge. Okay? So yeah, there you go. Bis, Return to Central. Fantastic. This might be a surprise to some people who don't know me, but I love Harry Belafonte. I love this man. And can I just be very bold to say that he is not just the guy who sang a bunch of music in Beetlejuice. Harry Belafonte is an amazing artist. He is an amazing performer, and he's an amazing activist who has an enormous back catalog. He's still with us. He's still fighting. He's still creating. Check him out. Mine this man. Search his depths. You won't regret it. You can't be unhappy listening to Calypso. Do it. Bauhaus, In the Flat Field. I don't need to talk about this album because I did it already. I unboxed this bitch a while back. If you want to hear about it, go over there. I have more to talk about. This album's great. It's perfect from start to finish. Just do it. Thank you. High Spirits, The Score by George Fenton. I know a lot of people are going to be like, wow, that movie is a piece of shit. Why does she like that? Well, I think High Spirits is very underrated, but I'm not here to talk about the movie. I'm here to talk about the score, and the score is really, really fantastic. You won't find a score that is much more varied than this one. It's fun. It's crazy. It's zany. It's spooky. It's haunting. It's creepy. It's everything, and it's wonderful, and it's always in my CD player. Go get it. All right, so this is a really important one. If I had to have a top 10, this would be in my top 10, okay? This isn't a top anything, but if I had to have a top anything, this would be my top anything. Anyway, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I don't have this on vinyl because the world isn't fair. I don't know why. And this album like lives in my DNA. For example, like if you, the cover here is very rough and matte because this is the same version I had when I lived with a friend of mine, and we kept this in our bathroom because this was like 2001, and we had a CD player in the bathroom, and we listened to it all the time. And you can still feel the hairspray on the cover. I can't. It's funny, you remember your life and you think about your life, and it's hard for me to remember a time musically that this wasn't a part of my life. But Hedwig and the Angry Inch, if you haven't seen the film, shame on you. If you haven't heard the music, you just do it. Even if you don't see the movie, this is such an important rock album in my opinion. And Stephen Trask wrote all the music. John Cameron Mitchell performed it. Just get it. Just do it. Just take the leap. Do the leap. All right. What else? I'm trying to be fast here. I don't want to do this forever. Ruby, Saltpeter, Leslie Rankin from Silverfish. This was her first solo album. This is a fantastic album. I don't know why more people don't talk about her. She's amazing. She's so talented. She's so raw. This is like 9 Inch Nails with a tiny drop of sugar and a better vocalist, if you ask me. Ruby, Saltpeter, do it now. Whew. All right, let's see. Let's get some more vinyl out. George Winston's Autumn I talked about in a previous video. It's piano music. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. It's perfect for this time of year. If you just want to sit back and relax and have some jangly fun with, some spooky books, this is a good way to go. Do it. George Fenton. He's a good dude. He's good at what he does. I couldn't get away with this list, and I couldn't just make a list of PJ Harvey albums. This is actually an original issue of Rid of Me. This is not the reissue, which I didn't have to buy because I already own it. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Rid of Me too much. It's probably my favorite PJ Harvey album. Probably not this time of year. This time of year, my favorite PJ Harvey album is White Chalk, but that's not on this list because that album is incidental to how I'm feeling at the time. But I love Rid of Me. It's raw. It's, to me, universally and infinitely accessible because of probably when it entered my life. But so, Rid of Me, PJ Harvey. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. You won't regret it. unless you do. And then you probably should just stop listening to this list because you won't agree with me on much. The B-52s, Mesopotamia. This album is it's not a full album. It was actually, the band talks about this album as if they don't really like it very much because they feel like it's unfinished. However, I love it. It's produced by David Byrne from Talking Heads, and it really shows the track "Cake" is my favorite B-52 song, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's a funny band to love." Maybe, I don't know. I used to get a lot of flack for liking the B-52s, like, "Oh, they're so lame." I'm like, "This is an amazing queer band, and you should all love them." And let me tell you, I saw them live last year, and they put on one of the best fucking shows I've ever seen in my life, and that's saying something because I've been to a lot of fucking shows. They are so legit. Fucking Kate Pearson is so beautiful, and then Cindy came out looking like some kind of alien dinosaur thing. Okay? And Fred Schneider and I were just like, "Hey, what's up?" It was really good. Anyway, Mesopotamia is a really fun album. Just put it on and dance your ass off. So good. Yes. Oh, I'm getting messy over here. All right. Oh, my heart. I've talked about this before. I did an unboxing of this before. I'm not going to go too deeply into it. If you want to learn more about Over the Garden Wall and the Blasting Company, you can watch me open this and talk about why it's so wonderful and so great. I think this is the third time I'm mentioning this album in a video. This is especially good for this time of year, so go pick it up. Or, I don't know if this vinyl is available still, but it's a really wonderful thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful. So you see what I'm doing? I already did this. Okay. Leonard Cohen, the songs from a room. Now, my favorite Leonard Cohen song, and we've already talked about this. How it's interesting that in this day and age you can kind of create your own playlists, and I mean you always could with cassette tapes and stuff, but now it's kind of effortless. Where let me just put this artist on shuffle, and it's really hard to pinpoint like a favorite album, especially when your favorite song by an artist isn't on that album. But Chelsea Hotel #2 is my favorite Leonard Cohen song. I actually covered that song with a friend of mine, George Leonard. And I guess I should maybe put that up on this channel, but I haven't yet. Anyway, I'm getting a little off track. Leonard Cohen was the first male voice I ever really, really loved and responded to. I discovered him on the Natural Born Killers soundtrack, which any 90s teenager, I think, had that soundtrack. And I went out, and this was the first vinyl album I ever owned, and I couldn't listen to it for a very long time because I didn't own a turntable until I was an adult. But I bought it as a teenager at a thrift shop, and I had it in my life for a long time, and here it is still, and I put it on all the time, and it's lovely. Bird on a Wire is my favorite song in this album, but the whole thing's pretty good. Leonard Cohen as a whole has an enormous back catalog. He left the planet not that long ago, and do yourself a favor and just explore. There's a lot to explore. He wrote a few novels. He wrote a lot of books of poetry. He lived in a Buddhist monastery for a while and wrote a lot of weird stuff there. So go ahead. You're going to find something you like with Leonard Cohen, okay? Maybe not this album, but something, but this one's my fave. Oh, so this is kind of great because I went on a little excursion over the past weekend, and I found a little record store. I stuck mostly to the woods, but I found a little record store, and I found something that I've been looking for years. Now, I think anyone who's been subscribed to this channel knows that I have a huge affinity for this film. I love Amadeus. It's one of my favorite films in the whole world, and it is also one of my favorite film scores. It's a lot of Mozart. Obviously, it's about Mozart. But I found this just a few days ago, and I was like, I'm going to wait a second to, really explore this on camera. Why not? So this is really beautiful. This is one of the reasons why I really love hard copy media, because you don't get this with digital shit. You just don't. I can sit up, I can listen to this album and curl up with it like a book. It's just different. It's just a different experience, and I'm very excited to have this. It's by Neville Mariner, and not everybody likes classical music or instrumental music, but I really do. Like I said, I like a lot of different kinds of music, and this is just one of my favorite things. Again, one of my top 10 things ever. What else do we have? In complete juxtaposition, Party Girl. The Party Girl soundtrack. which features so many different artists, which will get you up off of your ass if you listen to this. You will find it very hard to sit still listening to this. I cannot put this on without just breaking a sweat. The funny thing about this score, though, is my favorite song from this soundtrack isn't on this soundtrack. It's a song called I Got You Up by Day J, which I had to find independently of this soundtrack. So why? Why does that happen? Isn't that strange? But it's a solid soundtrack anyway. And anyone who likes like mid 90s dance music and like that whole club kid scene, you're going to love this and you should go buy it. What else do we got? What else do we got? All right, this is a hard one for me to recommend, but it's one of those things that constantly rotates back into my life, even though I don't really want it to. The Smashing Pumpkins, Adore. Yeah, I know. Weepy, weepy, wow, wow, wow. The thing is, I was a teenager in the 90s. I was obsessed with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness back then. And this was such a huge departure for the band after that, after this bloated double album of rock. And everyone expected more of that. And then this came out and everyone was like, ugh. But I was like, yes, give me this sad, drippy, truly melancholy, just endlessly melancholic album. And out of all of their albums, this is the one I come back to repeatedly. I don't know why. I do love Siamese Dream still. I do love everything probably before 2000 that this band did. But this one, for some reason, there's just something like it just touches me in a place, probably in that sad little depressive place that lives in us all. You know when you put out music on just to feel like shit? There you go. Something that you could never put on to feel like shit. At least not this album. I know some of her other work maybe would be a good candidate for that. But Björk's Post. Björk's Post. Now, I discovered Björk when I was 11, and it was a revelation for me. It was 1993, and I was quite just not really well in my head. And I remember I turned in MTV, and then there was Björk, and she made me feel better that there were weirdos on the planet. What's interesting about Post is, now I know a lot of people will be like, "Wow, Post of all the albums," because it's very poppy, it's very MTV. It's a lot of people are like, "Well, whatever. Why aren't you putting Vespertine on here or one of the other avant-garde things?" This album just always comes back to me. It's probably nostalgic. I don't know. But the weird thing about this, just as a side note, this is the UK edition of Post, and it comes in this weird plastic sheath, which also has a handle. It's got like a strap, so you can wear it around like a purse. I never did that. But it's fun and weird. And Björk. Yay, Björk. Oh, I'm almost done. Okay, what do we got? Oh, now, I didn't pick any anthologies for this list except this one, I think. I know I picked collections, soundtracks and stuff, but and that's because I think best ofs do a disservice to the artist because they don't really explore some of the B-sides and some of the lesser known tracks. However, this is a double disc anthology of Nina Simone, and I love this anthology so much, and it's so inclusive that I felt it could be included on this list. I listen to this all the time. I fucking love Nina Simone, and if you don't know her, this is a really good introduction to her. But it's another good example of how, what is it? There's a song, what was it? Is it Feeling Good? I don't think Feeling Good's on here, which is a great song, and a lot of people know her for that. But it's just, this is endless Nina Simone, and just go get it, because she was a brilliant singer and pianist, and she had an incredible life, and she deserves more accolades. Anyway. Well, here's, it's kind of funny because I'm down to the end here, and I'm like, which one do I pick next? I just did Björk, but so why not Sugar Cubes? Here Tomorrow, Today, Next Week. This is the only album that I own on cassette, CD, and vinyl. The cassette's over there. I didn't bring it over here, but you'll take my word for it, I'm sure. This album is just, it's kind of, someone recently, my friend Rick actually said to me, like, the Sugar Cubes reminded me of kind of like a weirder version of the B-52s, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of accurate. This album's bonkers. It's just off the wall and strange and dark, and like you don't really know what you're gonna get with this and the Sugar Cubes. They were a very strange, like indie avant-garde band. Really, I grew up with this. I grew up listening to this insanity, and I appreciate that. So yeah. All right. Who do we got here? So this lady, Julia Lewis, was you probably know her from movies and stuff like that, but she formed this band called Juliet and the Licks, and then she went on to do this solo album. I like the Licks works, but this album is so bluesy and so moody and so fun. And I saw her in 2017, and it was one of the coolest fucking shows I've ever seen in my life. She's like Joplin and Iggy Pop at the same time. She was electric and just explosive and so engaging. She jumped down into the audience and we sang together. It was so fucking cool. It was one of the best nights of my life. And this album it's wonderful. I love this album. And it's I don't think I could recommend it any higher. But yeah, go ahead. Go Terra Incognita by Julia Lewis. Now this one it breaks my heart when I talk about this band. Whale was so amazing. And it's hard for me to it's hard for me to choose We Care, because Smoke is my favorite Whale song, and that's on their only other album, this album called All Disco Must End in Broken Bones. But this album as a whole, I prefer more. We Care, you guys probably know Whale from their single Hobo Humpin' Slowbo Babe. You hobo humpin' slowbo baby, get off my bed. That one. Well, this just goes and goes and goes, and it's just such a great, fun album, and I really wish it had caught on, because these guys, they had some to me they were like a powerhouse band that never caught on, and it's just like a tragedy. Like, why do we only get 2 Whale albums, but you have some of these artists out there they just keep producing the same shit over and over again, and people lap it up. Whale, come back to us, please. Give us more. Seaberg, I want to hear your screeches for the rest of my life. Sorry, We Care is a great album. I would love to get this on vinyl, but it's super rare. I think there's a copy on eBay right now for like $200. I'm not buying that. But We Care is a great album. I love both of their albums, but this one I like more just by hair. So yeah, pick up We Care by Whale. Strange Swedish band, worth your time and your money. I got 2 more. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing like I could have included so many more things in this list, and it's kind of breaking my heart, but whatever, this was hard for me to do, and I wanted to do this video before it got to be too long. Anyway, this, again, like Hedwig and the Angry Inch, this is an album that like lives in my DNA. It's by an artist who I've talked about on this channel many, many times. The Ventriloquist by Ruby Throat, which consists of Katie Jane Garside and Chris Whittingham. This, again, a perfect album. It's just, it's hard for me to describe. It's beautiful music about terrible things. That's the best way I could describe it. And the first just few notes of the guitar on this album just make all of the little hairs on my body stand at attention. And there's never a time in my life that I don't want to hear this. It's I love this album with all of myself, and I don't know what else to say. It's a beautiful piece of art, and I thank Katie Jane and Chris Whittingham so much for giving this and everything else they've done, but especially this initial release. It's just perfection to me. Anyway, this is getting long, and I have a little surprise. I know, I already did PJ Harvey, but come on. This is PJ Harvey, To Bring You My Love. To Bring You My Love. This is the album that brought me PJ Harvey. And you know what? I'm going to unbox it, because why not? So, right? Why not? Okay, I'm going to do this real quick. Oh, come on. Okay. Let's hope that was enough to get inside. Oh. I've been saving this. I've been saving it for you. That's right. I've been saving it just for you. I haven't. It's been sitting on the shelf over there, and I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna open this reissue. I'm gonna wait until I do a video, which is so silly, but I thought it'd be fun. To Bring You My Love. This album introduced me to PJ Harvey. I was sitting in my mom's car. I think I had just like had a dentist appointment or something, and this weird track about a woman drowning her daughter came on, and I was hooked. I wrote the name down and I said, who is that? What is that? I need that. And then I went out and bought this album. But yeah, the song I'm talking about is obviously Down by the Water. And yeah, very excited to go. I'm going to put this on right now. I've been waiting a while to listen to it. Yeah, so I hope that some of you take something away from some of this. This is probably my longest video ever. And if you listened to the whole thing, I appreciate it. And I know that my list might be weird, and there's a lot of ladies here, and I know some of you are probably like, there's so much ladies, I don't like it. Well, you know what? I like ladies. And again, this is not at all, completely everything I listen to at all. But I think it's a good sampling of the different things that I like. I could go on for hours. I could go on for hours about how much music I love and all the different kinds of things that I love. And I'm thinking about like, oh, why didn't I include Janis Joplin's Pearl? And oh, there's just Captain Beefheart. And oh, geez, so I'm just gonna stop. But thank you so much for listening. And I've actually gotten quite a few more subscribers in the past few weeks. So thank you guys. Thank you. I just do this for fun. As you can see, this is like, there's no editing. There's no fancy graphics. There's no anything. It's just me and this stupid top hat talking a fool. So thank you for listening. And I hope you're enjoying my content. I actually have a few more videos planned for this month based on the spooky times. And I have a list that I've made about films that either you can't get on streaming or have been altered on streaming, basically about how it's good to own physical copies of things because they can be taken away. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. I will get there probably within the next week or two. Thank you so much for saying hello, and I really do appreciate the comments and the likes and the subscriptions. It makes me want to do this more. So if you're appreciating what I'm doing, thank you. And if not, well, then you don't have to watch. Okay, that's it. Bye.